One of the things I teach is manifestation techniques. And so what is manifestation? What is money manifestation? It's when a surprise amount of money comes in that you weren't expecting. So I teach these techniques. In fact, in the Money Miracles membership, members have now manifested over $2,142,000. So you were talking about a little bit about diversification, having multiple streams of income. This can be another stream of income. You have your business, but you have another stream, a surprise amount of money that comes in every month, right? And that's what's been happening to my members. In fact, this woman joined in January. She was actually quite hesitant because she had to max out a credit card to join my membership. And I said, look, I know in my heart of hearts you're going to get this back. You got to know coming in that you're going to get a return on this investment. Don't do this otherwise. And so she joined, and she's now manifested $16,000. That can happen. I'm not saying you're going to sit at home and meditate and visualize all day, because I don't know any billionaires who do that. They're getting out and taking action as well. But when you're doing both, you're visualizing what you want to happen and then taking action. I call that inspired action.
Before we jump into this episode, please subscribe to this podcast, hit that notification bell if you're on YouTube, and after a listen, please give us a thumbs up, like, and share, if we've earned it. With your help, we can reach more people and deliver these valuable from the trenches lessons to those that need it. Enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another The Builders. Today, Joel Salomon joins us again. Welcome back to the show, Joel.
Thanks so much for having me, Matt. It's, as always, a pleasure and an honor to be here today. Thank you so much.
Awesome. This is your fourth time on the show, so you have a lot to share. And that's, if anybody's interested, you can we'll go to our website. You can look up Joel. You'll see all his episodes. But we've had some amazing conversations, and you just got this really deep history experience in business and finance and all that good stuff. Joel is a finance and mindset expert. He is a master prosperity coach. He's a best-selling author. He's been on TEDx, something like that. What did you do on TEDx?
I did a speech called How to Create Money Miracles. So I highly recommend everyone check out that free 11-minute speech, which I believe will change your life if you put those practices into place.
I love it. That's awesome. So today, though, we're going to talk about, it's something timely I thought we would talk about. And as we all either know, by reading the headlines or by just in our businesses, there may be some effects. We're in some turbulent times, aren't we, Joel? There's a lot going on. The stock market's been a little crazy this past week. But just in general, a lot of people might say that we're riding on the edge of a recession here, at least in the States, maybe globally. I don't know. But there's certainly a lot going on globally. But with all that, myself in my business, now I have a web design agency, and I partner with other agencies. I have direct clients, and I have seen the effects. I had to actually do a little downsizing this summer because there was projects that were on the horizon that were delayed until next year. The people are writing things out. They're holding on to their money a little bit, both on my partner's clients and my own. So there's a lot going on, isn't there, Joel?
I think you could say, I don't like to say always and ever, but there's almost always a lot going on.
There's almost always a lot going on. That's true.
Right. And so if you looked back 16 years to 2008, August of 2008, you would have said, wow, those are really crazy, turbulent times. If you looked back to August of 2020, 4 years ago, you might have said, wow, those are crazy times. If you went back 30 years ago, I'm sure some people would have said, man, these are turbulent times.
Yeah.
And so what I will tell you is not you, Matt, but who's ever listening, watching, create your life. And Matt does too. And so how do you want your life to look? You get to choose. And so no matter what's going on in what I call the physical reality, you get to choose how you live your life. And so here I'm talking a lot about mindset, but your money mindset is critical. And how did you grow up around money? If you were taught, well, it's turbulent times, it's going to be tough to make money, or you were taught it's turbulent times, these are the opportunities to make a ton of money. Lucrative opportunities always come my way in turbulent times. I don't like to say always, but lucrative opportunities almost always come my way in turbulent times. And looking at life from that point of view, because before we went on live, I told Matt that I made my most money in any one year in 2009. And my second most best year was 2010, and my third was 2008. And if most people remember, 2008 was the worst year in the stock market. In the last 100 years, the market was down 40%. Financial companies, the only ones I was invested in, I was a hedge fund manager at the time, were down 57%. And 2009 was a rebound year, but 2010 was back really bad for financials, down 20% again. And yet, those were my best 3 years. Because I believed that I had lucrative opportunities. And some investors, not in stocks, in real estate, also made their best investments in those 3 years. If you look back at those years now, 15 years later, 13, 14 years later, you say, wow, those were amazing investments. Those were great opportunities. So when there is volatility, and volatility is defined as, according to me and according to most people, as things going up and things going down a lot, then there's opportunities, because if we went down a lot and you're buying there and you're waiting for better times when the volatility goes up, you can make that differential. So, and I know I've heard it all the time in business. People will say, well, things are slowing down, like watch out. And I will say there are plenty of opportunities. There's 8 billion people on this planet, and your market may be 1% of those, 0.1% of those, 0.001% of those, but I'm pretty sure that you're not currently having thousands and thousands of clients. And so there's still opportunities even when things are turbulent.
Yeah. Yeah. And well, it's interesting. You said, you're talking like when things come down in the stock market. I mean, it's common knowledge that a lot of investors, like, that's when I buy, when everything goes down, or maybe you hold on to things and it'll rebound or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's not always all bad, and I think it's all how you frame things, right? And it's the same in business. Like I think there's probably a lot of parallels with business and the stocks and all that. Is like we prepare for these things. Now, even though I just said that I have partners and I have clients that are, I wouldn't say necessarily always struggling, but their sales are down and they're holding on to their money or whatever. That is true, but there's others that are flourishing. and there's others. So for me as a business owner, what I've done and how I've constructed things from the beginning is I've diversified. I don't have all my eggs in one basket. I don't have all my revenue coming from one client or whatever. And so that allows me to adapt or change my focus to these other clients, do maybe more for them or whatever. Um, there's an agency I'm thinking of right now where it's like we're just starting a relationship with them and they have a ton of clients and there's a lot to do. So there's still things happening and there's still opportunities for us. But it's also one of the things that you got me thinking about is there's opportunities, but I think there's also an opportunity to get better because I feel like even me, like I have to do a little downsizing this summer just to kind of counteract that and really pay even more attention to my finances and my costs and I feel like when I come out of this, and I was just joking with one of our agency partners. I said, I feel like 2025 is going to be amazing, but it's going to be amazing because all these projects that are being delayed, hopefully will fire up in 2025. But also we got better. We got in these lean times, we got better at more efficient or whatever. So that's a way you can look at it too, right?
Absolutely, getting smarter by learning from experience, and you'll, if you have right sized your business, then you're operating on this spread, and then revenues are going even higher, and you can operate on, instead of, X expenses, you're operating on point X expenses. Then when your revenues grow, you're generating 20% more earnings because you're operating at that same level of expenses. Yeah. So you're becoming more efficient and learning. And I will say usually that does happen when things slow, is you learn to become more efficient, do more with a little bit less. And then when things rebound, you're generating even more money.
Yeah, I mean, I think, when times are good, it's easy to, I don't know if you want to call it, you kind of get fat, you kind of get lazy. Yeah. You're like, you have expenses out there that probably that tool you don't need, or, even down to that, or that resource you technically don't need right now, but you keep them on and you just kind of, you're not as focused on the money. Maybe you're focused on growth. Maybe you want to keep that person around, or you want to, but do you need that tool? Do you really need it? Do you really need that resource? Or can you slim down a little bit? And you don't think about that sometimes when the times are good. Exactly. But like you said, when things turn around though, now you got a larger gap and we'll have more profit.
And you, so like you said, tools. So you might explore more ways to become more efficient, like using more AI tools that mm-hmm. can optimize your business. And so you're not, and maybe it's also just because you're using AI, you're becoming more efficient. So you're spending less time doing what you were doing previously because you want to be more efficient so that you can generate more earnings with maybe a little bit less revenues. So that is all playing a part into how your business, and in general, I would say, because I analyze companies in the stock market as a former professional investor and as a personal investor, and that's what I teach some of my clients. I'm teaching investing in the stock market. And so you're looking for companies that are growing despite what's going on in the overall economy. And those are the companies I love to invest in, because turbulent times, non-turbulent times, they're growing, they're expanding, and their margins are expanding. And so their earnings should grow, and therefore their stock price should continue to go up no matter what the times are.
Yeah, because they're resilient. And yeah, I find it interesting too, is that, now this maybe is part of mindset, it's part of your strategy changes during these times, right? It's you could be doing business as is, and then these times happen, and you lose some business or whatever's happened to you, and if you keep doing things the way you're doing them, you might crash and burn. But you got to be have the ability to adjust. Like for me, I went through multiple stages. I started with those expenses, and believe it or not, I wish I had less expenses running an agency, but we're in the thousands per month. I probably spend, for the size of my team and stuff, we probably in tools and software, we're probably nearing about 40,000 a year just in software and solutions, right? That's insane. But I went through that list, tool by tool and service by service. I'm like, do I need this? And unfortunately, I couldn't get it down much more, but I cut a few things. But that was the first thing, and then it was resources. How can I change the team? Can I shrink it or whatever? But the other part is now I changed my strategy. Now I'm going to, in an interesting way, it almost frees up more time for this because you have a few less projects, but I'm now putting more effort into the marketing side and the sales side and networking and the things we do to get more business. Obviously that's a big focus. So it's cutting the expenses and then looking for more ways to grow the business, which again, which means I'll hopefully generate more revenue streams. And when things do rebound, I'm in awesome shape. But yeah, so I think that's part of it too. It's being resilient and being able to adapt and be flexible and during those times.
Absolutely. And so to be clear, I teach investing. So I'm an investing coach, and I also teach business strategy, and I coach businesses, mostly businesses who I call them spiritual entrepreneurs, the Reiki master, the life coach, health coach, energy healer, hypnotist. Those kinds of people are my people, and we resonate well. And one of the things I teach them, which I think is really important for people to understand and to get this concept, is to stop trading time for money and to create leverage in your business. So how can you do that? If you're a coach, if you're any of the people I just mentioned, you can do two things. One, you could have other people work for you, charge the same amount to the client, and pay that person half or a third of what you make, and you're creating leverage by having that person work for you. The other way is to do groups. And so I have a Money Miracles membership where I have a group of people, a community of people who are learning whatever they want to learn. So I've created all these videos to teach stock investing, real estate investing, business strategy, money personality types, money mindset, manifestation, all these techniques. And I have 1 hour a week where I come on live and answer any question about any of those things. So I've created leverage in my business because I could have 1,000 people in my membership, and I'm doing the same amount of work as if I have 100 or 10. Now currently I have about 30. I could have 10 times, 100 times and still do the same amount of work. That's not trading time for money. That's creating leverage in your business. So think about ways you can create leverage in your business so that you're not trading time for money. And that's a really important concept I think a lot of business owners don't really get. And it's really important to get because you can't scale by just trading your time for money.
That's true. Yeah, it's even when I'm scaling down now. The other thing I'm doing is, and I speak from my experience because that's what I know. But one of the things that I try to do is especially in these times, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to tie my resources to revenue. Like this team member, where do they map to revenue? And is that a good ratio? Is that what they're doing? Is that covering what I'm paying them? And then some, obviously. You got to have some cream on the top for the business to pay the bills. But So that's one of the great things, and so I'm leveraging by getting a VA or getting a developer or a designer. They're slotted in to where they are able to do things for our clients, or what. And so I can go out there and do the marketing, or I can go out there and do a podcast and all that stuff. So I have that. It's in the same, like you're talking about, Joel, is something I don't do today, but I've done in the past. Is if you're coaching, you're like you say, you're trading time for money. Is that what we call it?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Basically, you only have so many hours in the day and week. But if you can start leveraging, creating a membership, creating a community, and using video more, or one-to-many type situations like webinars and things like that, then you're able to make a lot more money doing it that way.
There's a great book I read last year called Who Not How by Dr. Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan. And so it's a very simple book, and it talks about how much is your time worth. And if you're doing things that are lower value, then delegate. So, for example, let's just say your time is worth $1,000 an hour. It should be, at least. And you're spending an hour a day going through your email. Get a VA to do that. Pay them $5 or $10 an hour. And there are plenty out there on these sites like Fiverr or Upwork that you can get around the globe who would gladly do that because their cost of living is a lot lower than yours. And then you can spend more time doing what's your core business, web design or coaching or whatever it is, because that's $1,000 an hour waste of $1,000 if you're doing that. And so How is basically thinking about every hour you spend in terms of your value add and how can you delegate. And if you don't have a virtual assistant, a VA in your business, I'm sure there's someone out there that could be helping you. And that hour can be spent on higher value added processes, strategies, clients. And the book is great. And by the way, Dan Sullivan wrote the book and delegated it to Dr. Benjamin Hardy. So he's the main. I say Dr. Benjamin Hardy because 11 out of the 12, 13 out of the 4, I don't remember how many chapters, were written by Dr. Benjamin Hardy. Dan Sullivan wrote one chapter and delegated the book to him and said, Dr. Benjamin Hardy, you do the research. Here's my concept. I know it's true. Here's my experiences. Here's my examples. Here's my testimonials. Here's my experience. Go off and do all the research. You write the book. Perfect example, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's an important lesson in business in general, is finding ways to leverage other people to do, so you can go off and do other more high value things or whatever. And, and there's little tasks and sometimes that can change over time. Like a recent example for me. Now I have a smaller boutique agency. It's not huge. Like I don't have 1,000 clients. The whole idea is to keep it boutique. Yes. Hopefully. Yeah. I need help. I need to figure out how to replicate myself. Yeah. We'll figure it out. But I'm still in some of the, like I do project management. I do, the accounting. I'm the accounting department over here, which to me is kind of valuable in that I have deep insights into what's going on day to day. But there were some admin tasks that I'd been doing. We had I'm not going to get deep into the weeds here, but we use ClickUp. And last December, we started tracking all our time in ClickUp. And so it'd be more contextual because we do project-based stuff. We do hourly stuff for agencies. But so we started doing that. But the ClickUp, it has some reporting, but not the type of reporting that I need because I have to do some magical things before it goes on to being entered in a partner's system and then my counting system. And but I was going in and having to like do all this stuff in ClickUp, and finally I'm like, I have a VA. I can train her how to do this and add it to a spreadsheet. Get me at least partway there. So they don't have to do everything, but they can do pieces of things too over time, and then they can do more and more over time. There's certain things that take brain power. There's like things you have to, not that they don't have brain power. It's not my point. My point is there's things that I have to do on a managerial level, all this stuff that I got to think about when I'm quoting or handling numbers. She doesn't need to worry about that. She just needs to collect it for me, create the reports. So she's really good at reports, even SEO reports. She does that for me. She, on a weekly basis, I can see what I got going on. But it's leveraging her to do that. That time that I would have spent on that, I can now be spending other critical things in the business. But that one just felt. I wish I would have done it earlier. I was kind of dragging my feet on it, and after now I have her doing it, it's like, oh my gosh, it's such a relief. And it's also a thing where you can also find people that enjoy doing things you don't like to do.
Yes.
For whatever reason, my VA, Cherie, I'll give her a shout out. Cherie loves doing like data stuff, data entry, or just creating reports. She's that person that just loves doing that stuff, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad I can give her a job to do those things that I don't have to do, and have somebody that enjoys it, and she's good at it. So.
It is an important part of the delegation, an important part of you knowing what you love to do, and then outsourcing or delegating to the things that you don't love to do to people who do love to do those things. I remember when I had my own hedge fund that I hired a chief financial officer, which my investors required, even though I'm an actuary by training and I can do the books on a relatively small hedge fund in an hour or two every day. But they were like, no, we want, separation of duties and all and best practices. So I hired this woman, and for the first few months, I was still involved, let's say. And finally she said to me, Joel, I love this stuff. I want to do it. And I was like, okay.
That's what I
don't love to do it. I was doing it at a necessity. I love managing money. I love helping others. I love serving others. I love having people with that light bulb go off and like, oh, now I get it. She loved doing the numbers. She loved doing the calculations and striking the net asset value every day and I was like, okay, she's like, I'm going to be a CFO for the rest of my life. That's what I love doing. And she has been. So once I shut down my hedge fund, she found a job at another hedge fund and she's CFO there. And that's her calling. And it's interesting. I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this will be like, there's somebody out there who wants to do the financials, who wants to do the accounting. Yes, there is.
Yeah, it's great. It's like, and that's part of putting in the right people in the right seats. You find those people that are passionate about that niche thing that you don't, that you kind of, there's a lot of things in the business. Like I like business in general. I like doing things, day to day, there's very few things I hate, but there's things I would rather not do, or that even like I said, I'll drag my feet on it to, okay, I got to do that today. I can do it, grab the coffee, get some, put the music on. I'll get through it. But to have somebody else that just, I can't wait to do it. You're just like in it. And yeah, that's so good. And it can help you. So back to the original kind of thread we were weaving, that these are the type of things that can help your business grow and ride out those days that maybe are a little bit where business is a little lean and harder times and stuff. It's constructing your business in a way where you are able to adapt and do more with what you got.
Absolutely. And
So,
just sorry to interrupt, Matt. I would say one of the things I teach is manifestation techniques. And so what is manifestation? What is money manifestation? It's when a surprise amount of money comes in that you weren't expecting. So I teach these techniques. In fact, in the Money Miracles membership, members have now manifested over $2,142,000. So you were talking about a little bit about diversification, having, multiple streams of income. This can be another stream of income. You have your business, but you have another stream, a surprise amount of money that comes in every month, right? And that's what's been happening to my members. In fact, this woman joined in January. She was actually quite hesitant because she had to max out a credit card to join my membership. And I said, look, I know in my heart of hearts you're going to get this back. You got to know coming in that you're going to get a return on this investment. Don't do this otherwise. And so she joined, and she's now manifested $16,000 in 6 months. So almost $3,000 a month, surprise money every month, and compared to her investment, right? So that can happen. I'm not saying you're going to sit at home and meditate and visualize all day, because I don't know any billionaires who do that. They're getting out and taking action as well. But when you're doing both, you're visualizing what you want to happen and then taking action. I call that inspired action, right? So you're taking inspired action, and then money's flowing from surprise ways, in surprise places that you'd never imagined. May not be like that client that you're working on. It could be a client that you talked to 2 years ago. And all of a sudden, they come out of the blue and say, you know what, Matt, I've been thinking about it. I really do need your help. Surprise. That's a money manifestation. And that's happening to my clients, the people in my membership, all the time, which is really cool. Now, it's that and other things, too. Because once I say that money is just energy. And so if you're at a higher frequency when it comes to money and abundance and prosperity, we're in August, and this is the most abundant month when we're talking today. So know that money's going to flow, that opportunities are going to come. And when you're in that attitude, then surprise things come, not just from your business, but in other places too. And that's the surprise that's really amazing that's happened in the membership.
So that's something that you are purposely, or it's part of mindset, but it's the mindset, it's the practice of visualizing. And I find myself doing that. I don't know if I do it enough, because I could use bigger things. I could use more. but I find myself doing that sometimes. Like I will, like right now, the way things are, I'm waiting. I feel like I'm just opening myself up to opportunities. Something is going to come across my desk, a new client or a new partner opportunity or something. And I'm trying to visualize, I'm waiting and know it's out there. Where is it? Where's it going to come? And I'm just keep myself open to those things. What is that practice like? What is it? Are you teaching somebody to sit down and meditate for 10 minutes a day and think about those things in the moment? Or is it a throughout the day type of thing, or just a general, just visualizing it throughout the week?
Good question. So I say visualization is different from meditation. I say meditation is a practice to quiet the mind. So you want to clear your mind of things, and maybe you're saying an affirmation over and over again. I am healthy, I am wealthy, whatever it is, but it's not a visualization, where a visualization is you're thinking about something specific. You're thinking about your business
Right.
growing to a certain dollar amount, or a certain number of clients coming in, or that dream house, or the dream car, or the dream vacation as a result of your business growing. So I think I have talked about the specific steps in the past, but I'll give them again. For visualization, the 6 specific steps plus the bonus step. And so it's once a day. Once a day and let go. And it's not this kind of energy, white knuckling it. You know, you see my knuckles, they're turning white. It's not that kind of energy. It's a flow, allowing kind of energy. Like, it's almost, I would characterize it as childhood curiosity. Let's play this game and see if it works. Who knows? It could work. It's 5 minutes. Let's just play the game. Like, you know, that's the kind of attitude is best to have, rather than I'm gonna visualize every day and it's gotta come, right? And so step 1 is to pick a time. Step 2 is to pick a place. So I'd recommend not doing it right after you wake up in bed. You will fall back to sleep. And don't do it in bed right before you go to sleep. You will fall asleep. So pick a time, pick a place outside of the bed. Pick the amount of time, 3 to 5 minutes, no more. I want you to get inspired and then take action after the visualization, not do this all day, right? You want to get out into the real physical world. Step 4 is really important. Before you actually do your visualization, write down 1 or 2 or 3 of the dreams and desires that you're going to visualize. So write it down, like, okay, dream car, the dream house, the dream business scenario. You know, I'm earning $1 million in annual after-tax earnings consistently each year. And it's easy and it's fun. So that's step 4. Step 5 may be the most important. From Wayne Dyer's book, Wishes Fulfilled, he said, make your future dream a present reality by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Make your future dream a present reality by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. So if you could feel the feeling of your business consistently generating $70,000, $80,000 a month, like how great are you feeling? How big a smile do you have on your face? How at ease are you? How, like, okay, you're thinking about your next vacation, your next big trip, your next investment, and it's just pleasure. It's just so much. You're just so happy and so joyous all the time. So feeling that feeling in the visualization. And that's step 5. And step 6 is to picture yourself in the visualization if you can. So it's like you're having an out-of-body experience and you're looking down on yourself in your blue convertible Maserati Gran Turismo that's going, 110 miles per hour. There's no police around, so, and you got more hair than I do. Your hair is blowing in the wind and you're just, ear to ear smile because you're living the dream, right? So that's step 6. So here's the bonus step. Step 7. Think beyond the dream. So say your dream is to consistently earn $1 million in annual after-tax earnings. It's the end of 2025. You've done it. In fact, you've done it early. It's December 12th. And you're at a party at Cipriani's at 42nd Street in Manhattan, celebrating with 50 of your clients and closest friends. And you're there with a glass of champagne, toasting, everybody's got a glass of champagne, toasting your clients, toasting your friends who are there, and you're just so grateful for them. Thank you so much for contributing to this abundance. I'm so grateful for you. I flew you out here because I wanted you to be part of this party. Your employees, the clients, the friends, and you're having this amazing 5-star dinner, Michelin 5-star dinner, and you're just celebrating. So that's thinking beyond the dream. Again, it's feeling first, manifestation second. So feel like that is so important. And people will and I'll do this too. I'll get into a rut, and it'll be 3 minutes in. I'll be like, I'm not feeling anything. And I just stop myself and I say, you know what? I'm done. I'll get to it tomorrow. I'm going to do it tomorrow. And it's again, it's not this kind of pressure on yourself. It's like, I got monkey mind today. I'm thinking about the podcast with Matt and what I'm going to say, and I'm kind of nervous and like, okay, done. Like, I'm going to get to this visualization tomorrow. I'll be more open-minded. I'll be more calm. I'm not thinking about my to-do list. So just know that it's don't put pressure on yourself, and be consistent about it. I've been doing it every day for many years. I've manifested so many trips and so many things in my life by visualizing that I swear by it. And there are plenty of other techniques I teach. So the point is that what works for me may not work for you. That's why I give people options. And I don't say do all 10. Don't do all 10 either, right? I give you 10 options. So here's another really quick, simple one. Take $500 out of the bank, hundreds, 500s, and put them in your wallet at the top on your money clip or right by your credit card. And don't spend it. But every time you open up your wallet, you're going to feel more abundant and prosperous. And you could also think about what you would spend it on every time you open up your wallet. If you're going to use a credit card or pay somebody $5, whatever it is. What would I spend that $500 on this time? Where would I go? What would I do? What clothes would I get? What mani-pedi or massage, or what VA would I hire? Every time. And once you're focusing on more prosperity and abundance, guess what happens? More and more abundance and prosperity flow into your life. So it's a very simple, easy technique. And I will say, if you don't have a lot of money in your checking account, especially do it.
It's even more important, right?
More important.
Yeah.
More important.
Yeah.
And so, that's a couple. There's 2 different manifestation techniques I teach.
I love it. Well, what I love about this, and number one, looking at it as a framework, like you got all these different things that you're teaching people to do, but you have to do what feels good to you or works for you. But also what I like about it is that it's grounded in reality. The fact that it's not only visualization and you will attract all the good things. It's like you're doing this in combination with actually taking massive action and actually getting out there and doing the work. And I think that's critical, because there isn't a magic pill. You're not going to just, meditate on something every day and it's just going to magically appear. At the same time, I think visualization is really, really critical. It's something I don't do. And you remind me of this is like you said, I think the reason I give this a lot of credit, I think the reason I have the agency I have today and have had the success I have is because I visualized it. Like I didn't give myself a choice. It's something like from the beginning, when I first created the brand and I started doing this thing, I had this idea. I'm like, I'm going to build this thing. This is how I see myself and how I see myself showing up every day. But I don't necessarily have that written down. So that's something that I have, like, that I look at every morning. I sit down and and I know you can have what is it they call vision boards and all this stuff where you can. I did for a while. I actually had it like on my computer. I had the background. I like myself golfing and I don't know, my wife was on there doing something with me or whatever, and my dog and and my perfect house. And I did that for a while. I should actually put that back up one of these days. But that was it kind of is that, but it's not something that I'm purposely doing every day. And I need to remember I need to get in that habit more and sit down.
And again, so if I can, if it's okay, Matt, just adjust one of the things you said, because I don't aspire to massive action.
Oh, no.
Like, I feel like massive action is what I did when I was managing my hedge fund. I lost money 7 days in a row. Like, I gotta make money. I gotta make money. I gotta move this around. And then I lost money again. But this is flow. You're in the flow. And so I will say inspired action is even more powerful. Now, massive action will work. I believe it takes more time. Whereas inspired action is like, wow, I would love to help 100,000 people become financially free. How do I achieve that? What do I need to do? Okay, I probably need to write some books. I probably need to get out speaking more. I need to create a membership. I can't impact 100,000 people one-on-one. So that's out. So that's my inspiration. And then I start I won't say it's massive action. I will call it inspired action. Okay, let's start writing a book. And then I have 3, and let's start speaking because my biggest fear in life is public speaking. Let me join Toastmasters. And 8 years later, I do a TEDx speech, right? So I call it baby steps with inspired action to achieve your dreams and goals. And that for me feels more in alignment with achieving than this kind of. And look, I spent most of my life doing this. I will tell you, 20 plus years. And I did achieve, I got to become a hedge fund manager by doing this. And I also achieved a lot of my life by taking inspired action and not even knowing it was called visualization or acting as if, which we talked about in another episode. In 1995, I was visiting a buddy of mine in London. He was an expat there for 6 months, and me and another buddy visited him. And I was like, he's telling me how he visited Ireland and Scotland, and we're going to London to take the Channel to Paris. I was like, wow, this guy's living my dream life. I would love, even for a few months, to just have this dream life. And it just seems so abundant, so amazing. And he, like, every weekend he's traveling somewhere, and you're in Europe, and you're experiencing new cultures. 3.5 years later, that was my life. I lived and worked in Switzerland. I was there for 1.5 years, and I traveled to 30 countries. And I didn't visualize every day. I wasn't like, it was just like, wow, that feeling of, I really, really would love this. I would so love to experience this. And then I put it out of my mind, but in the back of my mind, it was still there, like, wow, this would be so cool. And the universe kind of put steps in place so that I got laid off in order to take a job where I was living and working in Switzerland. But the first really important step is feeling it, like, and really being happy and grateful, like. And here's another, which is actually rule number 5 in the 9 Money Rules Millionaires Use, my second book: gratitude. Gratitude is so powerful. If you can be grateful, like, I'm not saying not want more, but be grateful for what you have. And I know can be hard when we're in turbulent times, but I will tell everyone who's watching this right now, you're living the dream life of 99% of the world. 99% of the world would love to switch places with you, even for one day. I mean, there are billions of people on Earth who are struggling, really, really struggling for food, for shelter, for water. I'm pretty sure if you're watching this, you're not in that camp. And they would love to those people would love to switch places, even for 24 hours. And I understand, like, I've been in the same mindset. Wow, I was on this call with this client. I really thought they were going to sign up, and they didn't sign up. And I want to help you, and they didn't. And you're in this mindset of, But in that moment, that's when it's so powerful to feel gratitude for what you have. And if you can be grateful for what you want, you want to earn $1 million of annual after-tax earnings each year, so you can be serving and helping a lot more people. And maybe you want to give $100,000 or $200,000 away, because you can when you're making that much money each year consistently. How would you feel? how grateful would you feel if that was happening to you? How appreciative would you feel? And if you can get into that feeling, then watch it come.
Man, my brain is like popping with, I want to dig into that and dig into that. Like number one, the first thing is the power of words. Like, it is important how you describe things. And like, I say massive action all the time. Now I want to say like chill massive action, or relaxed
Inspire
massive
action.
action. But I'll try to call it inspired action. And I was thinking there's other things, like people talk about, grinding it out, or hustle culture and all that stuff. It's like, get out there and you're just like, you don't have no time to rest. You're just knocking it out. But I like that. That really suits me, because I feel like I'm kind of a relaxed, laid back kind of guy. And I probably, that's probably more like how I show up every day. But the other thing, the last thing, and we can leave it at this, because you were mentioning things like visualizing and being grateful for what you have today. Even though, like you said, sometimes times are down, sometimes things, like me this summer, I'm having to downsize a little bit. I'm like, but what I did, and I remember specifically, this is in recent weeks, I remember a moment I was thinking, you know what, Matt, 5.5 years ago, when I started this agency, would love to be in my position right now.
That's a good
Because
one.
I'm still, like I built it. These are good problems to have. Right. I still have the business. We're still rocking and rolling. We built it. We're here. And then I try to think forward, like, this is another thing I did. I think forward, like 2 years or 3 years down the road, and I'll remember this time.
Mm.
And I visualize this as a slice of time where things were a little challenging, but I found my way out of it. And I know I will. And I think all of that, those are the type of things that, I think it's, maybe I just do these things kind of unstructured, but I that's why I believe in what you're talking about. And I think that could help a lot of people ride these things out. Joel, now you talk a lot about your community and stuff. Tell us a little bit more about that. And like, if somebody wants to kind of dive into your world and be inspired by you and do more in that regard. And maybe this is a good, maybe they're in a tough spot right now, or they just want more inspiration and to learn how to do these things. Where can they find you? Where do they reach out? And where does Joel hang out on the web?
So yeah, my website is Salomon, named after my daughter. My company name is named after my daughters, Lauren and Morgan. So it's SA for my last name, Solomon, then LAUR for Lauren, MOR for Morgan.com. And you'll see a pop-up there right when you get on. You can sign up for my free weekly email and video, which has a money tip each week, a powerful affirmation each week. I highlight a member of my network each week. So if you're in business and you want to be highlighted, I can do that for you. And then also I do a weekly Salomon notes of the book I read that week. So every week you're getting cliff notes of a very enlightened, powerful book that I think, from my perspective, because I only read the best books that are out there, all nonfiction, all uplifting, enlightened books. So that's where, and then my Money Miracles membership, I mentioned a few times, where members have just mind blown, for me at least, over $2.1 million so far in just a couple of years by about 30 people. So on average, about $70,000 a person they've manifested in a couple of years. And so it's you have to watch a few minutes of a video each day over 6 to 12 months. We have 31 guest experts in there that have provided awesome content, and it's a great community. We meet once a week. You can ask me any question on any topic related to money, abundance, mindset, manifestation, investing, and people are like thriving. It's really amazing to see where they were just a couple of years ago to where they are now, the mindset shifts. So it's we're making progress to the 100,000. That's for sure.
Love it. Yes, that's your goal, 100,000. Yeah, and I will just remind everybody that this is Joel's fourth time on this podcast. If you want to learn more about him, usually the first episode somebody's on, we're digging more into the story. So we have the story of Joel and how he ends up being this amazing person he is today. That's on episode 138. But you also got an episode 144, 156. I don't know what this one will be. It'll be in the 180s somewhere. So yeah, it's great to have you on again, Joel. I've really enjoyed this one. Hopefully it inspires. And until next time, I guess.
Yes. Thank you so much again for having me, Matt. I really, really appreciate you. Thanks so much.
That's all for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed that. Again, please subscribe if you haven't already and give us a thumbs up if we deserve it. Now a word from our sponsor, my agency, Unified Web Design. We build custom websites, features, we maintain websites, we work with agencies to fulfill their web design and development needs, and more. If you're interested in our services or are looking for an agency to work with as a partner to build awesome sites for your clients, feel free to reach out to me at unifiedwebdesign.com. There's a handy contact me link at the top. Fill out that form and it will open a ticket, and that ticket will find its way to me. Thanks for joining me today. We'll see you next time.